Good day. Here's another tip for the business executive or owner who wants to make smarter and wiser decisions about their commercial real estate leases. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about a merger clause, also referred to as integration clause, or in other words, it's the entire agreement clause of the lease. It may or may not be in there, but most of the time there's an agreement or a clause in your lease that basically states that everything written within is the entire agreement. This is the merger clause or the integration clause. What it means is that any agreement you make outside of the lease is really not enforceable. So where could this become a problem? Well, when you interact with a landlord, this goes both ways. This could be a problem for the landlord, could be a problem for the tenant, where there is some kind of an email that goes back and forth. That may not be enforceable. Now, any reasonable, ethical business person will take a look at an exchange, and even if they weren't a party to it, between a landlord and a tenant, and say, oh, I see where there was an agreement here, it may be outside the lease, and reasonable heads can come together and agree on that. Clearly there was an understanding that makes sense ethically to live by in terms of, let's just say, as part of a build out, a tenant decides, I want a different flooring put in, a different higher grade of carpet, and the landlord says, well, okay, don't worry about it. It's a little bit more, but maybe we're saving money on a kind of a door, and it's a wash, and we'll take care of this extra carpet. It's not in the scope of work. The scope of work's very clearly a certain grade of carpet. We're going to go higher than that. No cost to you, Mr. Tenant. Well, jump ahead to some kind of reconciliation of things. You might have someone else with the landlord look at that and say, oh, the tenant's supposed to pay for the difference because the entire agreement is in the lease, and the lease has a scope of work, and the scope of work doesn't include this higher carpet. You can see how quickly some kind of a handshake agreement, and by the way, in real estate, the agreements do have to be in writing by law. So understand that handshakes may be good between two people that would work out to ethical parties that remember and agree to live with what they shook their hands to. But in real life, enforceable in court, you're going to find that agreements in real estate have to be in writing. All right. So outside of the lease, if you're doing an email or writing on a piece of paper or some kind of a side agreement, it has to be very clearly amending the lease. So be careful to understand the difference between these little side agreements you might make outside of a lease and whether or not they're really enforceable, or if in fact what you're agreeing to needs to become an amendment to the lease. Now it's encompassed within the agreement, the entire agreement. I hope that's been helpful to you. Leave comments down below if you have any questions or comments about this topic, and look forward to more interesting videos about lease clauses and other things related to office leasing and commercial leases in general right here on Rossi Commercial Real Estate's YouTube page. Be sure to click the like button and also subscribe for more great videos. Thanks. I'll see you in another one. Bye-bye. Want to learn more about Rossi Commercial Real Estate? Well, then watch some of these videos, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you'll be notified when new videos from Rossi Commercial Real Estate are uploaded to YouTube.